Hello, welcome everybody. Today's episode is about authorities and celebrities, or in fact contemporary authorities. We are recording this footage in Turkey, partially in Istanbul, partially in Bursa, who are two destinations on my way on Erasmus academic journey. Why exactly does Turkey feature in this episode about authority figures and celebrities? I am just at the Bosphorus Strait, which is, as we well remember from primary school, a natural border between Europe and Asia. This country is a peculiar mix of tradition and modernity. Traditional values are still cultivated, but already young people are clearly mentally in the world of so-called liberated West. Figuratively speaking, the Western world is tempting modern Turkey, especially its young generation, and the traditional culture based on the Muslim religion wants to keep the people within a system of traditional values and authorities. A bit of push by force is therefore difficult to find a better place for such an episode. People have always differed from one another, and in certain fields someone was characterized by some above-average qualities and over time became a model for others. These authorities were diverse in different cultures. Depending on the country or time period, the opinions of leaders, elders, priests, scribes, teachers, poets, doctors, entrepreneurs were respected. People have always shown a tendency to follow others, or at least to regard the opinion with respect. Usually, the authority system in the previous era was based on experience, knowledge, or distinguished social position. Notably, in medieval times, artists were definitely despised or at most treated as frivolous people. An excerpt from a song by Marek Grechuta, famous Polish poet and singer, which quite aptly captures this traditional attitude to authority figures, so that the time is not wasted and strength not squandered. Wise people must be listened to and, like a treasure, protected. Nowadays, it's safe to say that the fashion for traditional authorities, among whom there are many wise people, has passed. Gone is the time of dull seriousness. In the 21st century, it is the popular, the famous, those known for their achievements in the fields in which thousands or preferably millions are interested, who get the biggest audience. What matters now is being colorful, loud, original, kitschy, different, showing off one's own kitchens, bedrooms or toilets, flaunting sex and nudity. And when there's no longer enough, modern authorities activate deeper layers of stupidity, insolence, controversy, or insulting others. The most important is popularity, likes, packed halls and stadiums. An erotic dance by a mature singer on stage is replaced on social media with over 1 million views. And an artist with alcohol problems is the idol of many and influences consumer decisions through her highly paid advertisements. With fewer and fewer people in the 21st century able to think independently, these contemporary recognized leaders are shaping the tastes, opinions, attitudes, and behaviors of millions of their followers. People have always needed and still need role models, authority figures, but the actors on the stage have changed. In a complicated, complex, chaotic world, simple messages are delivered to mass audience and life advice is given to them by those who are on the top of show business, sport, or online media. This is fostered by a social revolution involving a wholesale rejection of traditional values. The power of celebrities to influence their fans is the greater because we live in specific times. In the multitude of changing events, the enormous stimulus, it's difficult for the new available trends or ideas to be generated instead of previous values. For this, you need time, depth, intellect, mental effort, analytical thinking, some knowledge of the world, and difficult stuff. It's much simpler to observe contemporary idols and be guided by their opinions or imitate their behavior, irrespective of how sensible or nonsensical it might be. People readily open themselves up to the influence of modern-day priests from the stage or football stadiums or cages of pseudo-sports brawls. What is the deeper mechanism behind such a fascination with modern authorities and such a high level of trust placed in them by millions of fans and even ordinary consumers? Key syndromes are responsible for this phenomenon. Firstly, there is the halo effect, which means that popular persons enjoy such unconditional affection and recognition that their acceptance extends beyond the field in which these persons are really competent. Logic suggests that a popular singer might be an expert on voice emission or public performance. However, in the real world, she or he also becomes an authority for the broad masses in other fields about which she or he has little knowledge, if any. People are inspired by the lifestyle, the clothes, the views, the nose piercing, the behavior, the tattoo, or the way that a famous person speaks. On the other, there's the syndrome of this specificity of our times. There's an abundance of stimuli around us in our environment, events, relationships, things to do, decisions to make. We don't have time to make these choices carefully, and so we have to make them quickly. After all, we can't spend long hours and days contemplating the purchase of a new smartphone or some other of the hundreds of knickknacks we can't imagine living without. As a result, we choose a gadget that is recommended to us by a well-liked person, such as a singer or actress, while a stand-up comedian influences the choice of a bank loaned by the thousands who put their empty trust in him. The first reason for the influence of modern celebrities on our lives is the digitalization of our social environment and the development of mobile tools. These celebrities, with their advice, recommendations, and rants, people have at their fingertips, as it were, at the touch of a smartphone. This enables contemporary authorities to appear quickly and frequently in the sphere of consciousness of millions of people, as more than 90% of us are connected to the internet for many hours a day. Very quickly, people find their favorites there, and consequently the answers to every question, without realizing that the opinions presented by the celebrities are either silly, commercial, or both. Certainly not the best choices for the millions of gullible fans and consumers. In this fast-paced world, people are unable to determine the veracity and reliability of all the advice and recommendations from celebrities and influencers of various sorts. Most people, in their modern naivety and with a lack of time for reflection, don't realize that the internet is no longer the domain of disinterested creatives and objective bloggers. It's already a space more and more fully occupied by large corporations who are taking influencers into their service, like fashion companies did years ago with previously independent fashion dictators. To this mix of causes, it can also be added the infantilization of the way millions of people think and perceive the world, partly due to the lack of time, partly due to the convenience, and to a decisive extent due to the influence of the media and business corporations, They have lost the ability to perceive more difficult content. Instead, people increasingly steer towards what is easy, colorful, attractive, and simple. If TikTok algorithms are set up to promote silliness, and this is the main source of knowledge about the world of the Gen Z representatives, then it's hardly surprising that the simple advice of today's celebrities is more compelling and enticing than the more difficult choices of their own. Artificial charisma built on media-created image, however, is a trap into which infantile people, a product of modern TikTok civilization, fall. I once watched a TV show promoting young talents. 8-year-old Vanessa took to the stage. When asked what she wanted to do in life, the little girl replied that she wanted to be famous. And why did she go on stage? To give a show. The girl gave a show. The jury was happy. The audience clapped. The mom was happy. The little girl was cool, giga, mega. Later, she grew up and landed in rehab. The final explosive effect of the combined set of these causes is that people function in a matrix, an important component of which is the so spectacular role of celebrities, who are the modern authorities for these times. In the era of celebrities and influencers, we, as consumers, should keep common sense and independent thinking. We can't behave like puppets moved by a set of strings and sticks by contemporary leaders of opinion. The first solution that comes to mind is to reject all authority and make the choices by your own. No one should replace you in this. Even eminent people don't have absolute wisdom, and many of our life advisors present the illusion of knowledge, which is syndrome, which is the firm yet ungrounded belief that their perception of any issue is far greater than the issue is in real. Even less we can suspect modern celebrities of this supreme wisdom. It's naive to assume that the famous soccer player must present wise opinion on climate warming or Europe's relations with Ukraine. Instead, they take great care of their image, which is sometimes a mere stage blowout with singing from a playback. It is also certain that their personal advice and blog representations are based on advertising, sponsorship, and promotional contracts. This recalled the thought of famous writer Mark Twain, who advised, "Never let someone be your priority while you are only one option for them." So, what about us? It occurs that only a few, the brave, resilient, independent ones, can afford such recommended independent thinking. It's difficult, especially in today's environment where we don't have the chance to know and understand everything. The world is too fast, too diverse, too changeable and complicated. Thus, the other approach is more responsive to contemporary authorities. We can assume that they may have done something valuable in some chosen field and are indeed experts in it. So, it's worth reading a well-known beauty influencer's opinion on skincare. A ski jumper can help us choose our skis. Let's hope for jumping. And a famous athlete can teach us the correct running step. And that's it. Sympathy and even adoration for well-known loved one should not induce unreasonable behavior and emotionally based purchase of any products or services. However, it would be unfair and too schematic to lump all contemporary opinion leaders together with the label 21st century jugglers. For there is a group of people in this well-known company who, by their attitudes, can inspire fans to action and behavior beyond the limit of TikTok Reels. These are people who use their recognizability to spread good news and promote positive behavior in the world dominated by media spots with expensive cars and naked Botox, wide-reaching audience. They're involved in charitative activities, fighting for the quality of environment, promoting noble causes such as helping the mentally ill, supporting children's hospices, equipping health centers or animal shelters. Bono, Lady Gaga, Shakira, Angelina Jolie, Justin Bieber, Drake. Such names are many more. If they inspire fans to reach beyond the edge of their noses with their attitude, their celebrity can be dressed in noble robes, regardless of their many flaws, weaknesses, and questioned wisdom. Also of value are the attitudes of celebrities who have tried to climb out of the abyss into which they have been dragged by their rapidly acquired fame, money, and expensive gadgets. In the global background, figures such as Elton John, Ben Affleck, Daniel Radcliffe come to mind. With their real-life examples, they show that it's possible to shake off life's mud and lead a valuable life. Many can also be inspired by famous people who struggle with or have overcome serious illnesses or life difficulties, such as Sharon Stone, Julia Roberts, Selena Gomez, Celine Dion, or Adele. It can be seen that there is no simplistic division between traditional authorities and modern worthless celebrities. The traditional ones were far from being idealists, while the modern ones, at least some of them, can set a good life example. Therefore, the actors in this theater of role models are changing. We, on the other hand, as people who are not threatened by fame, should think as independently as possible, keep things in perspective, and question authority figures. Only then we will be open-minded human beings of the 21st century. Think for yourself, question authority figures. Till the next episode. If you like our project, please subscribe. Bye.